Today we're going to be talking about open defecation and its environmental hazards. What are the things that upset you when you get out of your house in the morning? You walk around and you see people just throwing trash here and there, defecating openly, and this thing bothers you and I. It's caused so many kinds of diseases going around in Nigeria, and that's why we have great men right here today. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome with me, the one and only, yes, to my immediate right here, I have Dr. Jacob. You're welcome, Doctor. And also, ladies and gentlemen, I have another very great man, Mr. Isaac Omoyele, right? Great, you're welcome to the show. The federal government promised us that by 2025, we should have enough toilets in Nigeria, and they promised that every year they should be able to build about 1 to 2 million. Do you think that is possible? Do you think that is doable? Looking at 50 million Nigerians practicing open defecation. 50 million, that is alarming. What do you think about that?
Okay, now I would like to share my personal experience working in slum communities. Okay. Now, the challenge might not really be about having what's it called toilets everywhere. The challenge is all about the mindset. I could remember when I moved into a certain community, a slum community. They were defecating in an open environment. It was more like a kind of custom to them. And I said to them, we want to bring development to this community. We were ready to build toilets. But the question was, are the community members ready for this? Are they willing? So they were not willing. So, what is more important before thinking of the toilet is sensitization.
Sensitization. I like that. Now, he mentioned something about providing toilets for them, and they were not willing. Why do you think they were not willing?
It is a cultural.
Great. Now I want to take that to you, Doctor.
Okay.
Do you think it's like part of our culture for people to want to defecate openly? People just feel like, instead of going to a toilet, sitting there and then looking for water, do you think like the economy or just being a people generally, do you think it's formed people to now think that, it's normal, let's just go out and do our thing out there?
I wouldn't say
it's like part of us already.
Okay, I wouldn't say it's a culture because you making use of the word culture is very strong. But I'd say it's an inculcated bad habit. Something that has been passed down from generation to generation. So it's almost like a part of us now,
So it's becoming the culture.
I'm trying to be diplomatic about it. I don't want to put myself into trouble. But I would say amongst a whole lot of other things, open defecation has been passed down from generation to generation. I would say we started off, everybody started off in this country at one point or the other. We openly defecated before the advent of conventional toilets.
I like that.
You understand?
At one point or the other.
I
mean, just hold that thought. Sorry, you continue, but just so I don't forget.
Okay.
Being in secondary school, well, should I even mention the school that I went to? So you don't go back and we do short put. I went to Federal Government College in Ilorin, Federal Government College in Ikole, and then I came down to Lagos. And I remember that all the schools that I went to, especially for Ilorin, I barely used the toilet. It was always in the bush, and over time, it just became like a part of us. And when you go to other places, you just be like, rather than go to the toilet. Well, if you have Doctor in the house, we also have Mr. Isaac in the house. You can call us on our number 090-8764-3339. And if you're watching us live on social media right now, just throw in your comments and we'll get back to you. Continue, Doctor.
All right. First of all, say you are a culprit also. You are propagated.
We can also be able to share their short food experience.
No. At one point or the other, we all did that. I remember back in my Unilag days, we didn't have good toilets. Most of the toilets were very clogged because of the overpopulation.
Yes.
So what we used to do, in fact, sometimes you could be having your bath and somebody beside you is having a go. You understand? So we, at one point or the other, we practiced open defecation. But I think most times, most people refuse to have that transition.
Okay.
Even the Bible says in the times of ignorance, God winked at. But when you don't have that transition from that negligence, that indiscipline, to say, okay, all right, now I think I've come of age, I'm aware, self-aware, this is not proper. We have to do the right thing. Most people don't want to do the right thing, either subconsciously or consciously. You know, it's something that is very, very easy. It's like littering the environment.
Just drop it there and you go. You don't have to flush it.
You don't have to flush. You don't have to just. It's very, very fast, very efficient, and sometimes nature assists you. You know, the breeze and everything.
You are trying to talk us into using toilet properly, and you are saying it's very easy and very fast.
No. I'm trying to.
Talking about doing the right thing. I can remember some months back when we had loads of trailers on the road, this Apapa Oshodi Expressway. I got into a kind of conversation with most of the trailer drivers, and I was asking, why do they use this foil to actually do all of that on the road? You know, and one of them said they are usually on the express overnight,
yes.
And there is no way, there is no means of them, you know, making use of a toilet.
Okay.
So as at that time, you know, that is just the best option. So they'll either do it either in the canal, in the gutter, or on the road. So oftentimes people defecate based on the situation on ground.
Wow, interesting. Now, we've taken over from India. India used to be the #1 country when it comes to open defecation, and now Nigeria is #1. I mean, it would have been nice to see Nigeria move to the 4 when it comes to greater things. But now we're talking about open defecation. Now we are #1 country with 350. I mean, with a growing population, 250 to 300 million people. Doctor, would you say we have a crisis in our hands right now, looking at the possibility of diseases and all of that? Would you say we have a crisis?
Well, I am in no place to actually declare a pandemic or a crisis.
So your guys at the top won't come for you.
But if I were to give my own personal and professional opinion, I'd say we have a dilemma in our hands. First of all, because I don't really like to judge because we overtook India as the leading country with open defecation. You know, but I'd like to say, first of all, you have to understand that Nigeria has a problem, drainage issues.
Yes.
And when you talk about open defecation, you have to juxtapose that with drainages. So when you have bad drainages and you have people constantly defecating inside those bad drainages, you have a serious problem. Because most of the conditions, the diseases that are carried along those drainages will effectively come from this tool, the defecation that is. So it's a no-brainer. Most times when people look at open defecation, they just look at how the aesthetic part of it. It's not good for the environment. It's not good. The smell, the stench is bad. But we are not looking at the medical aspects of it. We have a dilemma in our hands, and it's not just a constant thing that we've surpassed India. You know, we are growing.
Yes.
Many people, in fact, due to the fact that many people they don't have that access to standard toilets. They don't have that access to, like you mentioned, the trailer drivers and all of that. Yes. You know, we don't have easily and readily made available toilets.
I was going to ask Mr. Isaac, why do you think people, do that? Why do you think people just use the open to? Why do you think we have so many cases of open defecation in our country? What are the reasons? Like, I'm trying to wrap my head around it. And he started mentioning the fact that we don't have enough toilets, or some people just want to do that. What are the other reasons you think people just want to do that? Should we blame ourselves, blame the government, the fact that we don't have enough facilities?
Okay, so based on the toilets, now for some, I had a conversation with someone recently, and she was like, she hardly makes use of the public toilet.
Okay.
She doesn't. So she would actually prefer to do it open.
So is it because she's scared that she might get infection? Which also means that the public toilets available are not in proper shape, right?
That's also one. Now, for her, she said she actually prefers doing it in the canal. You know, at the most slum communities, they have
particular
they have they have this wooden structure for the kind of toilet they make use of. So you just enter, you could lock yourself inside, then it goes directly into.
Oh, I've seen
so
something
so
like
for most of them, they actually prefer that. They just prefer that. They feel they are safe that way. Now, on the other hand, for those of them making use of that, it's actually because there are people that live on top of water.
Yes.
They don't have any other options.
So they just do it directly in the ocean?
Yes.
Wow.
While for some others, they just feel, no, instead of making use of a public toilet. Now, for some people living at these slum communities, there are what's called toilets.
Okay.
You know, just very, very close to their community, but it's actually public toilets. Oftentimes, they ask them to pay. It is not free. Now, someone that finds it difficult to feed, you know, you're asking to pay 50 naira. Do you understand? So they just feel that they should make use of the toilet.
Wow.
Now, also talking about the what's it called? The effect, responsibility, and all that. Now, it is everybody's business. We can't just leave it to the government. Yes, government can provide the toilet, but we need to start sensitization.
But if we don't have the toilets, how do we sensitize someone?
Now, that is why we need to work hand in hand with the government.
Okay.
Now, talking about the government, who is the government? We also make up the government.
So you are the government. So should we hold you
We
responsible?
have a role to actually play.
Okay.
Yes.
Great. Now I'm going to ask you, Doctor, what is the proper way? Let's just leave India and everybody now. Let's come down to the nitty-gritty. What's the proper way? So we're going to learn now. What's the proper way to use the toilet hygienically, shall I say? What's the proper way to go into the toilet, use the toilet, and come out? And you know that you're not carrying, you know, you don't have poop in your hand or you've peed. You know, do you need to wash up? How do you need to wash and all that? Can you just run us through that quickly?
Okay, I'm under the notion now that we're talking about a very, very conducive and hygienic toilet.
Well,
because there are different types of toilets.
that's another topic.
Very well.
That's another topic.
You get what I'm telling you. Because before you even talk about maintaining personal hygiene when going into the toilet, you have to talk about the kind of toilet you have, the facilities there.
So let's say a toilet that has water running, everything.
Wonderful. Now, you go into the toilet, first of all, you flush.
You flush first, whether there's something in there or not. So please hold. Nigerians, I want you to learn at this point, because many of us just go into the toilet, you just do your thing, rush, and come out because you want to go and do something, you are going somewhere. Meanwhile, what you're about to do can actually, you can get infections that you have to nurse for a couple of years, not knowing that this minute actually is very important. So please, go ahead.
Okay, you flush, you make use of the toilet. After making use of the toilet, it is always advisable. You know, I'm not, like I said, I'm not in any position to actually dictate what goes for anybody. Some people love to make use of tissue paper. Some people love to use water. So whatever you do, I would personally advise that you make use of water. Even if you are still making use of a tissue paper, you make use of water. After that, you flush again, and then you make sure you wash your hands
properly. Very,
very, very, very important. You know, because probably, like he said, there are a lot of factors to these things. You know, some people might be having a running stomach. And you know, when nature calls,
I mean,
and
the way it comes out, it comes
out like you've been looking for a toilet everywhere. Everything I'm saying now, you will not even remember it. You just see a miracle. At that particular point in time, the toilet is your miracle.
Oh God!
And you just do that, just go, oh God, oh God. You don't even remember anything until the deed is done.
And it's usually within seconds.
God understands. I beg. Well, I can't kill myself.
Hello, I think we have a call. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, good afternoon. What is your name and where are you calling from?
Good afternoon. My name is Sheyi.
Good afternoon, Sheyi.
I'm calling from Ikeja.
Good afternoon, Sheyi from Ikeja. Please go ahead with your questions or comments.
Okay, so I wanted to comment on what the doctor mentioned. That's the FARC doctor. So I wanted to talk about something that a lot of us don't even pay attention to. So most of us that live in houses that, you know, the drain is connected, that's the toilet drainage system. I'm speaking because I've experienced it firsthand. So now an occupant of a house who also has other neighbors who use their toilets, you know, it has happened to me before. You know, I was lucky. I just stood up from, you know, the WC then, and I was about closing the WC when the person above my room flushed at the same time.
Wow.
And I could feel the water Like it was so obvious that some part of what the person flushed actually found its way into my own WC.
Wow.
So, that's another thing that I think we need to address with landlords. Like, they connect it, it's all connected, and then the heat that comes. So in a situation like that, such thing happens, like you might be seated on the seat by that time the person flushes, and then you are stuck with having the person's the heat coming from the person's toilet entering your own vagina or something, as in a woman's case.
Before using the toilet, you have to flush
first,
because there might be residue. Like as she rightly mentioned now, somebody, the pipe connection might be faulty, might be very, very
She mentioned the heat. She said the heat.
Apart from even the heat, there are some toilets that when you flush the adjacent one or the one above, some residue will just come and just be there waiting for you. You understand? And if you are not observant, if the toilet is not even well lit, you cannot really see. You just go there, and I don't want to begin to explain how bad that is. Wow. So you have to first of all flush, and you have to understand the toilet. Most times when you get to a particular place, if you're a visitor there, the people will tell you, this toilet, see how it is, see how it is.
Yes.
You understand? Or if it is your own house, you understand that at this toilet, if the person is flushing on one thing, you have to make sure that you take care of the toilet you want to use first. But most people overlook. Why? Probably because of the pressure, that comes with matters of defecation. You might be having a running stomach, and you're just in a hurry to get things done, But it is very, very important that you just at least check to see what is wrong with this toilet.
Thanks so much, Dr. Promise. Right?
Yes.
I forgot about Promise, Dr. Promise Jacob. You didn't enter with the last line. Thanks so much, Mr. Isaac, for all that you do, helping children out of school. We really do appreciate you coming here on the show to talk about open defecation. I'm sure that you have learned a thing today. I also have learned, before you use the toilet, flush first. All right? I love you guys. Until the next time when I come your way, I look forward to a day when the power of love will supersede the love for power. I love you. Share the love and just make the world a better place. Bye-bye.